Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Apocalypse Soon. And now, welcome your host, Eddie Pepitone.
Hey, Apocalypse Soon fans, how are you? And you know, if you've been following events here in the United States, that we are hurtling toward an apocalypse and hurtling very quickly. Now, let me say this about apocalypses. Apocalypses are personal, your personal apocalypse, and the apocalypse for everyone. I think they go hand in hand, and if you want a personal apocalypse, you listen to this podcast. All right, everybody, welcome, and it is such a great, beautiful atmosphere here in the studio today. It's rife with tension and lust and violence and all the seven deadly sins: pride, envy, greed, gluttony always, lust, and envy, and did I mention something else? Anyway, so the seven deadly sins are here, and also is here is our band leader. Please welcome Bobby and the Mephistophelians.
Oh my God, it's so good to be here. You're right, I'm feeling happy, horny, sad, pissed, angry, and ambivalent all at the same time. And I tell you, buddy, it feels pretty damn good. Feels pretty good. Good to see you.
Bobby, you do embody the seven deadly sins.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great because, you know, you're a very biblical guy. You're very devout.
Love the Bible.
Love the Bible. I mean, there are some of your, there are some aspects of your life that are questionable as far as you being a follower of the Bible.
Oh yeah. I'm off the beaten path, a lot of people would say. But I get in there. I like to sample little things from here, little things from there. But I'll tell you what, the seven deadly sins, man. There's something about that. It really gets my gears turning, a little bit. I watch the movie Seven. I call my girlfriend over. I'm flipping through the pages of the old Bible. Oh my God.
Yeah, the seven deadly sins is the seven deadly daily.
They're daily for me, baby.
That's right, they are. The seven deadly sins are a great thing to incorporate into a date night. There's no doubt about that.
100%.
100%. I understand that 310 people, and this is unbelievable, 310 people are still dying of COVID every day in this country. Do you believe that?
Yeah. What do these guys do? I swear they're making up numbers. 310, 312, what's going on? I had COVID. It was nothing. I went to a concert. I was in the mosh pit, and everybody's fine, But
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I think COVID is a matter of belief. I think if you think you have COVID, you have it.
Exactly.
If you don't think COVID exists, you're fine. I mean, I really think Fauci should have came, on these press conferences and said things like, "Hi, I'm Dr. Anthony Fauci, and look, if you don't believe you have it, then you won't have it. If you believe you have it, you will. It has nothing to do with masks or antibodies or viral. It's all about your belief system." In a way, it's true, I guess. A lot of New Age practitioners would say that.
They should call it placebo 19, because that's what it is. I'm telling you, buddy.
Bobby, I love your stance, not only on the Bible, but on COVID, on all the pestilence.
Thank you.
The four horsemen of the apocalypse, which, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, what is that? It's death. Do you know the four horsemen? You have a religious background, Bobby. Death, pestilence.
You know what? I have a hard time with the horsemen, because I always go death, pestilence, and then I get into my favorite horse, Cotton Candy, who always runs a little slow, but he's got a lot of gas in the tank. I'm telling you, that guy's going to pop off one of these days.
All right. Hi-oh, Silver, Bobby. All right, let's welcome our producer right now. Please welcome the great Kevin Tinkin. Kevin.
Oh, hey.
Hey,
Eddie.
buddy. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man.
We are recording this on the cusp of Memorial Day weekend. We had a horrible mass shooting.
Yeah.
To be serious a little bit, we had another really horrible mass shooting on the heels of a shooting in Buffalo, which killed 10 black people, a racist mass shooting. Now children 19. You have kids. What are your thoughts when this happens?
It's terrifying. It's scary. It's another one of the things, Eddie, that I have no control, and it's terrifying. And so my options are to worry about something that I have no control over, or to just, eat nachos and just try to ignore it. But it's terrifying and it's scary, and I feel like nothing's going to change. I feel like there's not enough dead kids and people and racism for gun laws to be changed, because I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. But it's terrifying.
Well, I'll tell you, it is terrifying, and we're not taking care of kids. We're not protecting children, which is such an incredible failing of a society. If there's one thing, a functioning society should do, right, is you have to protect the kids. Yeah. You have to. And they're not being protected, and it's scary. It's really scary. And all these events sow hatred. Yeah. They sow fear. What's unbelievable is that we have talked about terrorism as being our big, terrorism by Muslims, right? We have talked about terrorism since the World Trade Center, about how, we have to fortify ourselves against, Middle Eastern terrorism or, Muslim terrorism. And meanwhile, the terrorism is from within. Yeah. It's we're killing our own. So, well, and maybe we should bomb our own country, because we bomb countries, right? The Iraq and Afghanistan wars, Syria, Libya, Yemen, all these fucking wars, all these trillions of dollars that now can't go into infrastructure, mental health.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because that whole mental health thing, that whole thing, that's all completely connected to all this stuff. Like because it just feeds in, and then we got the unhoused are everywhere. Nobody's helping them with their brains. And I'm fine, but my brain's fucked up, and I need a little help.
As far as you're fine. I mean, it's relative, right? It's so compared to me, you're fine, but Aaron, our producer, you're not doing well.
That's true. Yeah, no, Aaron is much more well-adjusted than either one of us.
Well, we're a warring culture. We people don't realize that, but this is a death cult. The United States has been a death cult for a long time. I know some people are going to listen to this and just turn it off because they were looking for how to fix a radio podcast and they landed on this.
I love those podcasts where a guy shows you how to fix a radio, and then he also talks about the mental health crisis in America.
By the way, that's how. You remember those podcasts? The guy fixing cars. I forget. They were two guys from Boston, but they got really popular.
Oh, they're like father and son.
I don't know what they were. Friends, I thought.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
What's it called? Car Talk.
Car Talk. Yeah.
You see, we're trying to get well known so we could make a lot of money in this unraveling shithole of America. By the way, just to get on your point about mental health, the people who are not mentally healthy are, the NRA, the people at the top, the people who run the Pentagon, the people who think that bombing countries, murder is a good idea. But that's what war is. It's murder. Yeah. It's murder. And so murder happens overseas, and then it comes home to roost because people should be first and not money. And that's just not how it goes. In capitalism, it's complicated, but it's not. And I mean...
No. I think what you're doing is it is not complicated. It is
We make it
very
complicated.
simple to put people first.
Love or violence, love or hate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I know there's a lot of grays in between, especially in all my relationships. There's so many grays in between love and hate. Like my relationship with service people is not good because they always piss me off.
Oh yeah.
Because and I know they're not making much money, and I'll call Spectrum, who used to be called Time Warner, and Time Warner used to be called Leadbelly.
SBC Global, I think at one point. Yeah, there's
SBC Global.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I used to have the longest email address at sbcglobal.com.
Well, listen, Bobby, we're not going to, Kevin, who are you? We're not going to solve this right away.
Absolutely.
But it is amazing to me. This, I don't have kids, but that doesn't mean anything as far as feeling empathy for this. It's just so horrific. The families now are shattered. Like, it just sows this anger, hatred, fear. We're reaching a tipping point. We are reaching a point where, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. This privatized. We have a guest who's coming on today who will probably speak to this in a very outspoken way.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, because it's so fucked, and it's so reverent. I want to be reverent with it, but because I feel so powerless, it's like I'll just try to, I don't know, figure out how to laugh. Which is so messed up, but it really is true of how I deal with this type of stuff, because I don't know how to.
Same here.
I don't know how to address it as a relevant or a rational thought. It's just like,
absolutely.
Oh, we're fucked. So
absolutely, I'm the same way. I deal with tragedy through humor because it's so overwhelming.
Yeah,
the tragedy, it's so overwhelming and deep, and I don't want to let it in. I actually envy the people who can just kind of process their emotions right away.
Can you imagine living life without conflicting emotions in your soul?
Well,
where you could just have pure.
We're human beings, so we're always going to be conflicted to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, people who the robots, and me and you have talked extensively about robots when we're having lunch, but robots don't have conflicting emotions. And I don't know if you've seen the weaponized robots of the Pentagon on robotic dogs. Have you seen that?
Oh,
shit?
Yeah. I want one. I want to get one of those bad boys.
Come here, Fido.
Come on.
Come on. Hey, Fido, put down the gun. Remember, you're only supposed to focus in on enemies. Fido, I'm not the enemy. Fido. All right, so we have a great show coming up today. We're going to battle all of this depressing violence, unneeded violence, and just the way people put money before people in this society. The oligarchs who own it just watch this shit go down, and nothing.
Do you mind when I edit this down, if I could just put a couple of sound effects of just like farts and stuff
to lighten it up a little?
Yeah, just lighten it up a little with some, a couple of toots in there.
Oh, all right. I mean, that would be funny if, like, during emotional speeches on the floor of Congress, which some politicians are doing, they say, and Madam Chairman, I hope you don't mind, but I have this whoopee cushion that I'm gonna sit on while I'm giving this speech about the violence. All right, well, we have a great show, so we will see you soon, everybody.
And now, Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
was a cold Los Angeles night. It never rains here in Los Angeles except when I get into my cab or Lyft or Uber or Instacart or gig economy vehicle, as I like to call it. And as soon as I get in to try to make a couple of bucks to keep my heroin habit going, it starts to rain. The heavens open up like a whore opening up for business. Open wide, like a dentist says to his patients every day. Open wide, Dr. Yankowitz says. I'll never forget Dr. Yankowitz. The rain beat down on my vehicle. Rain trying to wash away all my horrific thoughts as we approached the end of days. I was going toward a fair young lady, that is. The rain came down harder and harder, as if the rain were working out in a gym. Harder it got. The rain was like a porn flick. Harder and harder. It's like sometimes when I Google porn and I'll say hardcore, the Ask Jeeves function will say, how hardcore do you want it? And I say, Jeeves, that's a personal question. I drove, all the water started rising in the streets of Los Angeles. All the headshots that were on the street started floating by me. All the headshots from the unemployed actors, unemployed actresses, unemployed producers, unemployed writers, the cesspool of the unemployed that is Los Angeles entertainment industry. It was all floating by me, the headshots, the craft services, catering that wasn't eaten, all floating by me. Editors in their editing bays were floating by me. The oceans were finally rising to the point of death. Finally, the Pacific Ocean was rising. It was rising like bread, like good bread, like not the bread you made yourself during the pandemic, but bread that was being risen by an experienced bread maker. An experienced bread maker whose life was a shambles. A bread maker, an experienced bread maker whose life was an absolute shambles, and the only thing he knew how to do was make bread. After that, his life was horrific. He didn't know how to relate to anybody. He was wanted in 3 states, but boy, could he make bread. And lots of it. Sourdough, pumpernickel, multigrain, even though a lot of people didn't like the multigrain. Picky. Sesame seed bread. He made bread, let's just put it that way. He didn't make much bread as far as dough. Well, no, let me rephrase that. He didn't make much bread as far as Benjamins, as far as money, as far as Hamiltons. And I'm not talking about the music Hamilton written by Lin Miranda or something like that. I never could keep my historical musical composers straight, especially when the rain was coming down as hard as my life. Man, this rain was coming down. I was thinking about jamming a heroin needle, just popping some heroin, boosting some heroin, or whatever the term is that people use for shooting heroin in themselves. I wanted to do heroin, and just pick up my fare, a fair young lady. I pulled in front of the address that was on my Uber/Lyft/Instacart/DoorDash/gig economy car. There were no benefits in any of those jobs. Those jobs didn't have an upside like this podcast. And the rain came down like the rain came down like a sober version of Taps. If you ever heard Taps, it's not a good movie, but Taps is a great, great piece of music. I listen to Taps every night before I go to bed because I know that death is coming. I saw the woman open up her door to the outside. She had a little umbrella. It was a Vinnie Van Gogh umbrella, a picture of Van Gogh with just one ear on her umbrella. I said, strange choice for an umbrella as she got in my car. She shook out the umbrella in my car, getting me wet, and I said, why did you do that? And she looked at me and said, because I want to make love to you.
Oh, yeah.
I said, baby, you're lucky you hit me on the right night, because I haven't boosted any H, and I think I will be able to get an erection this evening.
Hopeful thinking.
She was wearing a beautiful culotte, which is a one-piece thing. I'm not sure what a culotte is, but I like saying it somehow. It's not a jumper suit, but it certainly is something that is worn in the summer.
High fashion.
Yeah. I said, if you want to make love, do you mind if I stop at the donut shop first? Because I love to eat a few Bavarian creams and glazed and half chocolate, half vanilla. I love donuts, cronuts. I love pastries. I love chicken wings. I love all kinds of stuff. That's right. At my donut shop, you can get chicken wings. I'll say, give me 6 chocolate dips and 8 chicken wings, and the guy will look at me and go, how do you know we had chicken? And I go, the rain tells me. I got back in the car with the donuts, and she was gone. She had left. There was a little note tacked up to my rear view. It said, it was fun while it lasted, and a big lipstick smudge on it. I bit into the Bavarian cream, and it squirted all over my new Patagonia pants that I bought for hiking, but I never did make it hiking. Not with all this rain. I looked in the rear view, and I didn't see her, so I just drove into the LA night. Deep into the dark LA night. Deep into the subconscious. Deep into the mist.
This has been Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
Where are you, Tim?
I'm in Los Angeles. You know, I tried to live in Texas for 3 months. It did not work.
It didn't work. Yeah, I remember that. I was like, why is Tim going to fucking Austin?
Taxes.
Yeah, they call it big mistake.
But
Yeah.
you know what was good though, dude? And you got out of it right away, though. Like
Right away.
You didn't make it a 15-year mistake, which a lot of people.
No, it was so quick. I knew
Are we
within a
recording,
week
Aaron?
it wasn't going to work.
We're recording. Yeah. So Tim is talking about leaving Austin, right? You knew it was going to work. I remember you went. This was very funny to me because I revel in people's misfortune, even friends.
Yes.
Like, I have to be honest about that. Like, even though I really dig you, I when I saw you online when the power outage happened because it got cold. And you were online and you had something like you said on Twitter or something, thanks Joe Rogan. You were waiting for water or battery. I don't know what. I was just like,
I'm going to try to sue him I'm trying to sue him for having us move down there. I just, here's the thing about it. God bless everyone there. It wasn't for me. I don't hunt.
I have good friends there.
I don't drink whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't carve up animals. And I'm sure those are all lovely things. I mean, listen, great. If you're into that, great. It's not for me. I like, seafood. They don't have any fish. And that was a problem for me. They don't have sushi. It's just a code. I don't like football, and I don't have kids I'm not a high school football. Like, someone suggested to me, they go, why don't you just go to the high school football games anyway? And I said, that seems odd.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the woman who cut my hair kept trying to get me to go to her church.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a fit.
But here's a question then. We're talking about Tim Dillon's brief dalliance with Texas. Why did you go? Well, you knew all that shit awaited you,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you go?
Joe had said he had...
Joe Rogan?
I bought Cap City Comedy Club, and it'll be open in 2 weeks. And
it's still not open.
I had never lived anywhere except New York. Yeah, that's right. Right. So I had never lived anywhere except New York and LA. So I said, let's take 6 months. Let's try it out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It'll be fun. It'll be a different situation. Like I've never lived anywhere except New York or LA. And I had friends that went away to college and they went to these little college towns and they had a lot of fun, and I would visit them and I'd go, it's probably fun to live in a place that isn't just chock full of sociopaths clawing each other's eyes out to get a better table at a restaurant. Come to find I like that act. I need that a little bit. So I figured I would do a little experiment down there. And it was pretty much over before it began. When I moved there was the biggest blizzard in the history. Yes. It was a once in 100-year blizzard to mark my arrival.
Yep.
And we lost power in the house. And it was a sign. It was biblical. And it was a sign that I just didn't belong there. And again, there's people that enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know what they're enjoying.
Yeah. Well, I talked to somebody recently who said, I like it because it's mellow. He goes, this is Tom Segura. I can say his name. Tom was like, I dig it. It ratchets down the intensity of LA and New York is kind of what he was saying. And he liked that. Do you relate to that at all?
No. I mean, I don't, here's the thing. He has children, right? So it's a different life. I'm like a single gay guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know you were gay. Yeah.
Lives alone and is not part of the, family. Like I don't have a family, and I don't.
Same here for me, except the gay, I'm not, I don't think I'm gay, but I'm open to anything at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if a man fucked me, maybe I would see into myself better at this point.
I thought I could marry a woman and have a sexless relationship and wear just like a white, ill-fitting suit and sit on a porch and just deal with it because she had some type of inheritance from an oil baron.
Yeah.
And we would just kind of sit in the backyard and sweat and she wouldn't be a looker, but I'm not a prize either. So there'd be skin issues, but I think that's kind of the way I thought it might work. Where my producer is very attractive, and his wife is as well.
Yep.
And they're a very young, attractive couple, and people like that. When people like me, when people like me enter a community, there's chatter.
But you know what? People like that. But you know what we have? We have the comedy. We have the comedy.
Right.
And people go for that, and you have to use that in all your dealings with, let's say, Whole Foods, wherever it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And you're getting big, so I would imagine. Tell me, do you get recognized regularly now?
Every now and then, someone will see me in a Ralph's,
right?
Or
right.
it's never it's never getting recognized in a glamorous way. It's usually if I'm like in an airport, if I'm trying to get a frozen yogurt in before the flight, someone will come up to me and they'll say, "Hey man, I'm a fan of you."
Yeah.
And then they'll sometimes we'll do a photo, and it's very nice, but a lot of times I'm not ready to be recognized.
Oh,
so
really?
I look kind of disheveled.
I kind of like it because I'm like, okay, maybe I'm doing something right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this person has recognized me. You know what Todd Glass does? It's very funny. He goes, a lot of people, come up to him. Not a lot, Todd's level of fame, but people will come up to Todd in a grocery store and say, "Hey, I don't mean to bother you." And Todd does this reverse thing where he then will follow them all around the store and bug them. Like, they'll want to get away from him eventually. Which is very funny to me if, like, let's say you approach a celebrity the stature of Tom Hanks, who, by the way, is still doing terrific work. I think you know that. And imagine if Hanks, followed them around the fucking Trader Joe's going, "Did you really think I was good in Philadelphia?"
It's good to turn it around on them. Like, I was in a grocery store and a woman came up to me and she goes, "My son is a big fan of yours, and I want you to call him and just tell him to go back to school." And I said, "Okay." And she just gave me the phone and I said, "Hey, scumbag, go back to school." And then she took the phone back immediately and went, "Great," and then hung up. So that's what's happening here. It's not like Tom Hanks.
You're inspiring the youth.
Very different than Tom Hanks.
Well, let's just talk a little bit about the and just let us know when you have to go. Let us just talk about the unraveling of this fucking country. All right, I know you specialize in that. It is so overwhelming at this point that I am wondering if I am doing a service to people by sticking their noses in it, because I'm all about, here it is, folks. This latest shooting in your home state, or the state that you had a dalliance with for 3 months, it was so fucking horrific. So fucking horrific when it happens to kids on the heels of a racist gun shooting. It's like everybody is like, fuck it. I think everybody's like, fuck it. This is the way of life.
Well, you have the people that they go, they want to ignore the guns. They want to ignore the gun manufacturers. They want to ignore the amount of money that goes into the coffers of, lobbyists, whether it's the NRA or any other, military industrial complex, because it is all also connected to that. Right? It's also connected to weapons manufacturers and things like that. And these people often go, well, it's mental health. Yeah. And then you would think they'd follow it up by going, how about mental health care? But they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah, they don't follow it up by going, let's do mental health care. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty sick. I get a lot of pushback when I say that guns need to be harder to get, because people get mad at me and they go, well, because I have a lot of people that are rightly suspect of, the government and the things they do, which I completely understand. But, when you have kids like this getting murdered and there doesn't seem to be any, if you're 18 years old and you want to buy 2 AR-15s and you can do that in the span of 5 minutes, that seems to me insane. And to everyone around the world, it seems kind of crazy too.
Yeah.
And there are, in other countries, you would need a waiting period. You would need an interview. You might need to have a license. You might need to, say why you wanted the gun, right? Like you might need to provide a rationale for it. That to me doesn't seem insanely unreasonable. I understand people hunt. I understand people live in the woods and need to protect themselves, or wherever they live, they want to protect. But to me, I don't understand why people are so angry at the idea of having a 30-day waiting period, having a background check, having like some type of interview about like, hey, this guy seems off. He seems off.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't give him 2 AR-15. It's odd to buy 2. Isn't it odd that you go in and you buy 2?
I'm one of these fucking people who are like, first of all, no one needs an automatic weapon. Right. I mean, do people hunt deer with an AK-47?
No.
What the fuck do they need an AK-47?
I have no idea, but yeah, it seems like it would take the sport out of it.
It does. It does. When I'm hunting a deer, it's all about me versus the doe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me versus the doe. And I put on the black camouflage thing.
Yes.
I have a couple of IPAs, and I go into the woods with my boy. And I go into the woods with my boy, and we bond. We bond over the killing of a beautiful animal. We love it. We love it, me and my boy.
Right.
Well, you always do it with your hands, too. You never use a weapon.
Well,
it's
I'm
not fair.
Sicilian. Sometimes I will sneak up behind the deer with piano wire. But, Tim, Go ahead.
Well, I like the deer because when I was in Texas, again, I don't have many friends, and I knew no one in Texas. So I get 8 or 10 deer on my property, and sometimes I just talk to them about Nancy Pelosi's insider trading, and it's nice because they would kind of be an audience.
You are so tough on Pelosi. I mean, she wears those big necklaces that I love. You know what I'm talking about? Those big baubles.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She has style. I just don't like her because she seems like she'd be a woman who, if I was seated next to her at a restaurant, would give me a look, even though I know the menu better than her.
Yes.
Yes.
Like she's the type of woman who go, "Why is he here?" And I'm like, "But I know what a gremolata is."
Gremolata. By the way, the people, and I dig, the distrust of government, right? You say you have some pushback. But the thing is, this always puzzles me. If the government wants to fucking kill you, they will.
Yeah.
You can have a cache of weapons.
Yeah.
They have something called drones that will fucking murder you.
They tend to win.
Yeah. So I'm not.
They tend to win. And what the government is doing, more so than going around killing people, is just kind of making them work for less, and they don't get anything. Like they're, the reality is like people are unable. My mother's mentally ill. My aunt had this.
Here we go with the bragging. Here we go with the bragging. Go ahead.
I know. It's it's one of those things. I like to trot it out, but my aunt had to spend like 2.5 years, 3 years getting her into an institution because and my mother worked her whole life, paid taxes, and literally has schizophrenia, which is the same as a debilitating illness. But to get her into a state facility, again, not private, not, this isn't, we're not getting her into Augusta National to play the Masters. We're just trying to put her into some version of The Shining. And that's still hard. Nobody wants to pay. And my whole thing is like, it's very difficult when you have a country of people that the food is poison, they're stressed to the point of having nervous breakdowns, they can't raise their children, they have no guaranteed time off, they don't have any of that stuff. It's kind of, you see what's happening, and I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to do really well with a podcast, and I'm very happy about that. But I mean, what if I had been born with a neurodegenerative disease, right? Or what if I had been in a bad car accident? What if I had something unfortunate that, I had to declare bankruptcy because of medical debt? Like, I think there's a lot of considerations where I look at the world and I go, it's a casino. You are lucky to a degree. And I just think we've run a society for the last 50 years where people are their lives are being treated like a casino, where it's hope you don't get sick, hope you don't get fired. And to me, it's like, when you see the Bezos and all these people that are, they'll be trillionaires. And I just think maybe that's a bit much.
Yeah.
It is fucking unbelievable. By the way, I
have the level of money where I'm still impressed by like the waves in the ocean hitting. So if somebody owns a house like by the ocean, that impresses me. I go, that's really nice. You can hear the ocean. There's a certain level of money where people start going, should I own the ocean? And that might be a problem.
Yeah, when we hear that Elon has bought the Pacific, that would actually be so funny if like Musk buys the Pacific and Bezos buys the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, me and you have in common that our mothers, my mother died, but she was mentally ill as well. And I think it explains the both of us pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a great indication of the solid footing we had.
What's brilliant about us, though, Tim, is that we have parlayed our mental illness into, you're a lucrative career, and my treading water.
You're treading it like a beast.
Well, you were the funniest person. When I see the people, when I watched you film that special, which was one of the funniest things we'd ever seen, because Eddie, you're somebody who, like, comics literally get excited to go and watch you, and we hate everything and we hate everyone. But when you tape that special, and Kevin knows, me and Ben, everybody was so excited to go and see you and tape that special. There should have been a bidding war. There should have been a bidding war for that special, because it's one of the funniest fucking things I had ever seen. But this business, they keep wanting to like highlight the opinions of like good-looking 19-year-olds. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like, where is the Euphoria starring us? Are we not
baby.
Can we not go to college? Can we not go to a continuing education school? I'm sick of looking at people. They're the hottest people I've ever seen, and their lives are horrible.
I know.
Yes.
I know, and we know that's not true. And if it is true, then I like them. Like I do know a couple of attractive people who are so fucked up, and I enjoy that. I'm like, all right, at least you've made up for it somewhat. But I that would be funny, by the way, Tim, in a night school Euphoria of like losers. That's hilarious.
That's right. Where it's just, but again, we're living in such a fantasy land that, it's crazy to me that art, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't reflect more of the crazy dystopian stuff that we see every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
everything on Netflix is like a good-looking woman in Santa Clarita murders her neighbor. I'm like, can we get back to the hell that everyone sees every day, and not this like suburban wonderland of like murder for fun, sexy murder? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Are you talking about the docs or particular shows that? Well,
it's shows and also docs, but it's shows where it's like, I don't see anything. I mean, Euphoria, I guess, does a decent job of it because everyone's on drugs.
Right.
But I don't see a ton of things that show the level of political corruption economic collapse, like,
Yeah.
you know, the things that we kind of are confronted with every day, climate shit, droughts, all this stuff. There doesn't seem to be a ton of that.
No.
That's funny. Like, again, I know it's escapism, but you can also escape into a reality that's kind of more, you know, similar to what, you know, the things that people are kind of going through every day.
And I think we can analyze that and say, well, the fucking people who finance Netflix and whatever, who finance movies, who finance everything, and they're all, you know, movies are financed by the Saudis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like hedge
what do they
funds.
what does Prince Mohammed bin Salman want to watch? Right.
I think this is my impersonation. I think we need more Iron Man.
Yes.
Terrible impersonation.
Yeah, it's all Marvel. It's all superheroes. It's all kind of infantilized child stuff. There used to be movies. You know, Jared Logan had a great joke once. He's like, you know, there used to be movies like Kramer versus Kramer. It was about a divorce. That's it.
Yep.
It was just about a divorce. Like it wasn't about a ghost. Or it was just about two people who no longer love each other. Where are those pictures?
Yeah. Right. And I remember watching Kramer vs. Kramer. It was Dustin Hoffman getting divorced from, was it Meryl Streep?
I forget.
It was Meryl Streep. It was Meryl Streep. And I remember Dustin Hoffman had to get a job. This day, like, and it was like, let's say it was like Memorial Day, like today, and he went into an office and he just got a fucking job. And I remember that was a point in my life where I was smoking tons of weed, going, I need to be proactive, I said to myself.
I think more and more people are just escaping into the digital world.
Absolutely.
And I think it'll just get to a point where no one leaves their house. And then
That's
the bravest
what's happening.
people, the bravest people are the ones that do Postmates and Instacart. Like they become Navy SEALs because they're the only people that are willing to walk from the Walmart to their car, which could be 60 feet, but, you know, they're all going to be armed and wearing body armor just to deliver you eggs or a thing of cheese. And I think that's what it's coming to. I mean, every article now is like California is going to just, I don't know, be a dry litter box. And I don't know. I mean, and Texas is 1,000,000 degrees. And then if you go down to Florida, you have hurricanes. It's like, if you go to the middle of the country, you have militias. There's no winning.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, Tim, you are the best. I don't want to keep you long.
Thank you. We love you. We want to have you on our show. I'm going to Richmond, Virginia, to a Funny Bone now.
A Funny Bone in Richmond?
Maybe those people have figured it out. Maybe they figured it out in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
But... you know, we'll see. We love you, Eddie.
Right,
we love you,
too,
Kevin.
bud.
Thank both of you, and I'll do this anytime. Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
See you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, brother. All right. That was Tim Dillon, who's so fucking funny.
So funny.
I love Tim. I mean, he gets a little, you know, lefties push back on him for some shit, but I just think he's funny. And,
exactly.
It's hilarious. So, all right. That was Tim Dillon, and we'll be right back.
Traveling the highways and byways of America, our truckers are the backbone of the American economy. Even more so, the ice road truckers. And now, join us for Confessions of an Ice Road Trucker.
Hi. My name is Shelley. Obviously, I'm not a woman. Just Shelley is one of those androgynous names. Anyway, I'm an ice trucker in the Maine area. God, there's a lot of ice in Maine. I don't know why I chose to deliver shit in Maine, but I am. I deliver things for hospitals like urine samples, kidneys on ice, and also their food that they eat. A lot of doctors are like Yoo-hoo bars, fudge sickles, that kind of thing. So in my truck I have like fudge sickles for their vending machines or their fridges. fudgesicles, candy bars. You would think doctors would eat better, but and then I deliver, the urine samples and kidneys on ice. People who need new kidneys. I deliver heart, lung. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I hit a lot of ice, and I hit ice this one day. It was already a stressed out day because I had lost my pills under the seat. And I don't know if you've ever seen a trucker's seat, but you can't find the fucking pills, and these are pills that help me. Anyway, I hit the ice, I spun around, and I was like, holy Christ, I got all this urine and kidneys in the back of the truck. Why don't I drink some of the urine and, cook some of the kidneys? And I know this is sick, and I know it's kind of gross. These, the urine samples, first of all, they determine whether people, have certain things in, do they have a urine infection? And God knows I've had more urine infections than, than raisins in a box, if that's a metaphor I can use. And so I pulled over, because of the ice, I lost my head. That's a lot of things that people don't know. I lost my head. I started drinking urine. I had a little hibachi grill. It was freezing, but I cooked up, some of the kidneys. And as I'm eating a kidney marked Tom Reynolds, the kidney has their names on it. This kidney was supposed to go to Tom Reynolds, who needed a kidney to live. And here I am just cooking it up on a hibachi, mixing it with onions, little scallops. I had scallops on me. Scallops, onions, Tom Reynolds kidney, some parsley, chives. I like chives. And I had a couple of specialty IPAs that had just come out. And I just had a big feast, and I washed it down with a guy named Lou Scelzo's urine. And I'm sure he had a problem, just from the look of the urine. It was purple. And if you have purple urine, that's a red flag. So anyway, what I want to say is that I'm sorry that Tom Reynolds never got a kidney. I understand he died soon after. And it turns out Lou Scelzo, his urine showed that he had onset dementia. And I drank it all, and I ate the kidney, and I do feel better after this confession.
This has been Confessions of an Ice Road Trucker.
Hey everybody, that was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I didn't. Now I want you guys to please, couple of reminders here. Become a Patreon subscriber. This allows you to get the episodes first. There's some bonus content like me doing stand-up. I'm going to be doing some artwork for our circus subscribers, or Brett, I forget which one it is, the people who do $20 a month. But please go to patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone for extra stuff from the podcast. What else do we have, Kev?
I just want to say, just for $20 a month, you could clothe a man like Edward Pepperino. And he comes through this studio here, and the other comedians, they rail on him, and he can't even get a word in before they start talking about his shirt or something. And a lot of them, they bring these tax forms out, and they'll go, look at this income. And Eddie keeps a good, he's a good sport about it, and he keeps a good face on. But guys, you love him. We want to give you more Eddie, and so, do the Patreon. Send us an email to eddiepepod@gmail.com and subscribe to the YouTube. Write us a review. call your parents and tell them about Eddie Pepitone.
Yeah, spread the word about the podcast. Write a review, as Kevin said. They always help. And all right, folks, we will see you next time. Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside.